welcome to week 4, ladies and gentlemen. Kamikaze parents are here.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone. That's Bailey's go-to line if you are not on Facebook.
That's usually hey, friends.
It sounds the same. Hey, at the same time.
We're here, and we have
I am here.
the most requested podcast of all 15 requests that we got.
We have that many?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tonight,
Thanks,
we
guys.
are covering the story. Did you say the? I mean, sounds really fancy. The story of how we got into doTERRA, how we went all in, and where we got to where we're at. So, everyone, we had a lot of requests for kind of our story with doTERRA. People want to know what this business has looked like for us from the beginning to now. And so we haven't really done this in a long time.
Yeah, this should be a shit show.
They would expect nothing less.
I did make some notes for this episode, so
I
it'll
did
probably
tell
be
him to make
freaking
some
amazing
notes
because
for
I
this
made these amazing
episode.
notes. So
Here we go. Okay. So
back in 1976, Bailey was born.
I really try not to use the F word. I'm okay with other ones. I feel a little bit weird about the F word, but that almost.
All right, she's not a 70s. She's an 80s baby. Anyway.
As are you.
I know, but I was saying you. I was making you older than you are.
Yeah.
No, anyways.
So
you guys heard we were married,
Uh-huh.
right? 2008, we got married. 2008 or 7, 6, I don't know. Bailey started as a teacher at Cedar Falls. And I was an engineer. Pretty much John Deere is where I was at, right? Bailey enjoyed teaching, but as soon as she got pregnant, we had decided that she was going to stay home and be a stay-at-home
Well, you
mom.
missed a step. We went through infertility.
Well, they heard that step.
You told no, they did not.
They heard the infertility step in episode 2. If you haven't, go back.
Not
and
what
listen.
I'm about to say.
I know. Yeah, I'm just going to turn my mic off, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys later tonight in now.
Stupid. Turn it back on. Anyway, during our infertility, I was going a little Lulu.
A lot, Lulu.
And so I remember you saying to me, like, you need a hobby, because I didn't really have a hobby.
Yeah, I was golfing.
Sports were my hobby. And then, once you're out of high school, if you don't play in college, it's just, kind of game over. And so somehow we ended up getting a really nice camera, and I started taking pictures for friends for free. It was super fun. It was a great hobby. I could learn and study and then go do, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making people happy. I
did not enjoy it as much because...
Well, we're not to you yet.
What?
So then I started charging people, and I would have little gigs, and then, is that what you call it? I don't know, sessions, clients.
Sure, whatever you want to call it then.
And then it kind of got really big. And I asked you to step in and do weddings and families with me. And so we were shooting one wedding a month and probably 8 families a month. So we were gone 8 to 10 nights a month. Our kids with the babysitter.
Yeah, it started in 2009 when you were going through the issues, actually. And then it obviously grew into a bigger business. When we had Kinley, it was easy because there was just one kid. We had
and because the day I went into labor, I never went back to teaching.
Right.
And so I really picked this up. And
yeah, as you got more successful, we had more kids as well. I was doing more with you. Yeah. So I was working full-time at John Deere, and then I'd literally come home 3 nights a week, maybe, average. And we'd go out and do 2-hour shoots with other families, which was a fun time for most of those families, but it was a lot for me.
It's a lot for you to be gone from the kids, and I would work from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. editing, running the website, things like that, and so it just was a lot. But I loved it, and I made time for it, and it was great until doTERRA came along. And so how did doTERRA come in our lives? Well, like almost every doTERRA customer, my story is no different in that a family member or a friend, right? You can replace that however you want, reached out and was like, hey, I see you
hug trees.
I see you cloth diaper. You must be like a total
tree hugger.
And I was like, oh, not really, but I do like my cloth diaper. She's like, can I send you some information on essential oils. And I was like, yeah, sure. And she literally mailed me a packet, like old school photocopied packet.
Yeah, I remember that. Might be even in our cabinet still,
It
actually.
might be, yeah. And we should pull that out. That'd be cute. And so I started looking into it and did a bunch of like YouTube research and stuff and decided that, yeah, I kind of liked what I was reading and mostly testimonials from people, right? And so we didn't have a lot of extra spending money back then because it was basically your income only. And, you know, my photography helped with a lot of fun stuff. But so I used my photography business account to buy the family physician kit.
You were so sneaky.
So that I wouldn't have to run it by Matt. I wouldn't have to talk about
Because
it.
I wouldn't have cared anyways. Let's be real.
No, you're really good about that stuff. But I just thought, okay, I'll use oils to like calm babies and it'll be a great business expense. So the kit showed up and it sat in our bathroom closet for months because we had no stinking clue what to use. There was no customer Facebook support group like we offer. There was no book where you could look up illnesses like we offer. There was like none of that. And so how compliant do I have to be here? Probably a smidge, huh?
No, I mean,
and
yeah.
So we got into using them finally after several months. Matt had, I'll never forget this, he had head tension. And I had seen this video about frankincense. And so I opened the frankincense, which is a really, really amazing oil. And I put it on the back of his neck and he was like, frankincense doesn't smell super great. It's earthy, whatever. And he was like, what in the hell? And I was like, yo, if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for you. And sure as shit, not that much later, the head tension had disappeared.
Yeah.
And we were off and running. And so I started drinking a few oils to help with my digestive issues, which I think we covered a couple episodes ago. And just started diffusing them and playing around with them. And friends would kind of come over or whatnot. And they'd be like, what is that thing puffing in the corner? And they'd ask questions. And so like
they'd be like, here, just a second. Puff, puff, pass.
like any good trained teacher, I decided, well, if people are asking questions, I'll do a presentation. And so I spent hours putting together this PowerPoint with videos of doctors and science and all the things. And I invited friends over. And I think we had like 13 or 14 people filled our basement little room down there.
Yep. Early June 2014.
Mm-hmm. So we're coming up on 8 years. We're at 7.5.
Sure.
That's right, Matt.
That's right, Matt.
And so I did a presentation. I saw the post not that long ago, and I remember I went and got wine. I'm not a wine drinker. I had no clue it was supposed to be chilled or not. So we had wine and chocolate, and I did this super long presentation for like an hour and a half, and now they're like 40 minutes because I've learned. And just as we're getting to the end.
Yep. So it was you and I don't know if there's 10 ladies down there with you, and I was down there because I was IT. We had a little projector set up on the counter to project on our wall so everybody could see. And we had 2 kids at the time. And I know some of the other people had some kids. Like, yeah, it's fine. They can come upstairs and, they'll play. So me and the ladies are downstairs. The kids and the babysitter were upstairs.
Oh, we had a babysitter?
I believe we had somebody up there watching.
You were the babysitter.
I don't think I was. But anywho.
Anyway. And we're about wrapping up the presentation, and the warnings start going off that a tornado is close and we should take shelter. Well, it just so happens that we built a house a couple years before that, and we had added a tornado shelter because a town near us had been hit really hard. And it wasn't that much more. And we're like, yeah, we're going to have kids. We should have a tornado shelter. And so I gathered these women in a tornado shelter. What I didn't know is that 2 of the women are claustrophobic. And the tornado shelter is literally 3
maybe 4 feet wide
to 4 feet wide.
25 feet long.
Yeah, so it's super skinny and long. It's dark. I mean, there's one light bulb in the whole thing.
And a bunch of junk in the one end.
It's a little bit like moist and dark. It's all cement. It's just like not where you really want to hang out, but it does its job. Or so we're told. And so we pile in this room. And I remember Jane Alderts, shout out to Jane, was like, I'm just going to leave and go home because I don't really do storms or small spaces. And I was like, the hell you are?
Yeah, we're in a shelter. Nobody's leaving.
Oh, you're not leaving on my watch and dying.
Jane.
And somebody's husband was police officer or something, sheriff. I don't remember whose it was. And they had called her or texted her and said, hey, there's a tornado spotter on the road that you're at, and there's a tornado a mile away. And so we're like, yeah, you're not leaving. And so, like any good hostess, I passed an oil for calming, balance, and everybody put it on their wrist. And within like 5 minutes, these two ladies who were losing it were like asking questions like, well, what would you use for sleep? And could I use this on my dogs? And all these things. Like it was like night and day, total flip of the switch the second I used the calming oil. And literally, like, I just start taking orders in the shelter. And every single person I think ordered that night because, like, in front of our own eyes, we saw the ladies
Yeah, the calm of the storm.
have the magic. And so that's how it started. I just wanted to be able to teach.
We still have an order form in that room.
The corner.
Yeah, because it fell off. And every time I clean that room, I just leave it there because it's kind of like a piece of our history.
Yeah. And so that's how it all started one summer night in 2014. And then
so that was in June, and then December.
And then we got a check the next week.
I don't.
And
did
I
we?
was like,
I have no
yeah,
idea
and I
because
was like, oh, that's
those just
cool.
went in the drawer for Bailey to use at Tarjay later as well.
Yeah, and so that was kind of cool, but I still really wasn't looking at it as like a business. I just had fun getting together with ladies. And then some people that were there were like, hey, would you come do this for me? And Shelly Welsless was there, and I think she was at that one.
It was her husband that called. Josh
Shelly
called.
there?
I think it was Josh, yeah.
And she was like, hey, if I did this as a business, like, what'd you think of that? And I was something along those lines. I was like, yeah, like, I'll help you, whatever. And it just kind of took off, and people started, asking me to come teach their friends, or I would ask them. And then just a month or two later, I had our
third. It was Miles in August.
Third baby. And so took like a month off, and then it kind of picked back up, and the checks kept getting bigger, and then I would just take them and cash them and shove the cash under the silverware drawer. And so when I wanted to go to Target, I would just grab cash and run, and it was great because I felt like no responsibility to our family budget because it was just cash. And so that was super fun. And then one day Matt saw the check, and he was like, these are significant. You should open a business checking account. And P.S., you're paying like $4 for this check fee. Like, you should set up.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like $2, but it's like,
it was like $3.95.
I don't know. It was more than you needed to pay for a check to be coming to you. We can direct deposit for free. So
yeah, and so then he set up direct deposit, and we really started looking into the business. As far as like how do you do this, and like how are we paid, because we had zero clue. Like, these checks would just show up, we had no clue.
All right, let's keep going. Let's further. So in December we got accepted in a program where
we got a call in December from
so we accepted that
some lady that we didn't know at all.
Jeez.
And she was like, hey, you've met the requirements, and doTERRA will pay for you to it's not focused, that drives me crazy. We'll pay for you to travel the country.
There are those gas station classes.
They're Citrus Farm classes, actually.
Still Citrus Farm.
We'll pay for you to travel the country, and you can teach classes. And I was like, oh, I love travel, and we don't really have money for it. So, I'm in. And so we accepted that, and then we took that January to plan, and then we started traveling February, March, April, May. And so we did, what did we count at one point?
I don't know. That was like
100 classes in like 120 days.
Yeah, it was insane.
And here's the backstory. We found out the first place got like $10,000, second place got like $5,000, maybe it was like 20 and 10 or something. Yeah. And I'm very competitive. Matt's very competitive. We love traveling. Somebody was paying for us to travel, and so we just went all in.
Yeah. And
we crisscrossed the country and hit, I don't even know, maybe 10 or 15 states, and loved it and went crazy, and had amazing business partners, who were half in, that would be like, hey, my aunt in, Georgia wants to have a class, and we're like, okay, we can be there in 20 days, and we take off. And so
I will remind everyone, I am still working at John Deere at this time. Full time.
Used every day of vacation, basically.
Yeah, it's like every night she was staying pretty local, I would say within a couple hours. And then like I would have put in extra time so I could leave a little early on Fridays. And there's one Friday morning we drove, I think we might have left on Thursday because the weather was bad. We drove all the way to Denver, Colorado. I remember like an hour from home, we started fishtailing that old van we had. Remember that? But that was a good trip in the end. It was.
And so that really exploded our business. We had a ton of customers. We had a lot of people who wanted to do the business with us. And we ended up taking first place, which is technically second place because there's grand prize. So we got like $5,000 or $10,000. And we were like, oh my gosh, like we really like should keep doing this. Like we should like really just keep our nose down. And so we did. We just kept scheduling classes. I would say one of my biggest successes in doTERRA, even to this day probably, is scheduling classes from classes. And so I got really, really good at asking people to host a class at the end of a class. And so I would leave with a couple more classes booked. And so that was just kind of our bread and butter. Like we just always had classes booked. And so our very first event was, so then we hit silver like a few months after we started, and then we hit gold and platinum during Diamond Club. For those of you in doTERRA, you know what that means. We hit diamond the month after Diamond Club, so we hit diamond within like 8 months or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And then we went to our very first event, which was convention.
Mm-hmm.
That September. We went as diamonds, and so we got some extra perks, and we got to go to the preview. Remember they used to have preview night for diamonds?
Oh yeah.
And we met Emily Wright, the owner of doTERRA, and we saw the farmers on the stage and the scientists, and we were like, holy cow. And we got special seating, and we just couldn't believe like the caliber of the company and how much they cared for their farmers and how much the farmers loved doTERRA because they got rid of the middleman, and how much they cared about the purity, and like they just had huge vision and huge heart. And so we kind of just never looked back from there. And so I think we hit Blue Diamond.
Well, that was 2015 when all that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it was December of 2015, closing out the year. And I said, Bailey, we were still doing photography. I was still working at Deere, and we were being very successful at doTERRA. I said, Bailey, here's the thing. I am done with photography. It takes a lot of my time. So you can continue to do photography if you want to, but you're doing it on your own. Or you can continue to do doTERRA.
No, here was your line.
It was probably a solid line.
It was solid.
Because here we are. So
it was solid. You literally said to me, you can choose whatever you want, honey. You can choose photography, which gets you, you get paid when you work, which is great, and you're really good at it, and you feel happy, but only the few people get to work with you because you have such a long wait list. Or you could choose doTERRA, where you get paid even when you're not working, and you've created this residual income, and you can help thousands of more people. Which would you like to do? And I remember thinking, well, that wasn't really a choice. And so we did. We closed.
It was a choice.
Yeah.
You could still be doing photography if you wanted.
Yeah. So we closed down photography.
Yep.
We miss the people. We don't miss the craziness of it.
Yeah, we still actually know a lot of the people, talk to a lot of people.
Some of them are still like business partners with us now.
Yeah.
And
so then 2016 was we hit our next big rank of Blue Diamond. So again, that was a lot of travel, and actually there's another Diamond Club type thing, Presidential Club they did at one time, and that allowed us to travel again and push us to our next rank of Blue Diamond.
Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't too long after, you called me one day at work, and you said,
yeah, I think it was that fall of 2016.
You said your check this month, which I didn't even know what they were because I just didn't log in to look because he made me go electronic. Your check this month was bigger than mine. It's almost as much as you made in a year of teaching. What would happen if I left Deere? Could you make more money? And I was like, oh, no. Like, I was not excited. That's like so much pressure on me. I loved being home with the kids. I thought that meant I was going to have to like work way more. And like, I'd basically be replacing your position of just working like 9 hours a day and not being with the kids. And I'd always work so hard to be home with the kids. And so I wasn't super excited, but it didn't take long at all.
No, so that was in the fall. And we talked to other people in doTERRA that have done the same thing.
We spent months
It's
and
primarily
months.
the wives have become successful, and the husbands would be like, yeah, let's do this together.
Well, I think we wanted to prove to ourselves that we could live without your income. So we put all of your income
Right.
into savings for
Yeah,
several
we did do
months
that.
to make sure that we were good. And we went to
for Valentine's Day. So, yeah, it was Valentine's Day.
it was Valentine's Day.
Bailey gave me the sweetest gift
I gave
any
him
man
this
would ever
lovely
ask for.
card with a handmade gift certificate inside that gifted us one session to a counselor, a local counselor, together. That's the first time we'd ever gone to a counselor. And so we went to the counselor, and my main question was basically, are we going to get divorced if he comes home and we work together? Like, talk us through the red flags. Like, what's going to go wrong? How do we work through this? He was a great Christian counselor. And he ends the session by saying, stop, that's probably so annoying to hear. By literally saying,
About
like,
as annoying as getting a counseling present for your
baby,
Valentine's
but
Day.
I loved you.
Oh, baby.
Basically saying there's no two greater people that could do this together. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't see how this will fail, or something to those words.
That wasn't really the best thing we should have heard. Because then a month or two later, you left.
Well, yeah,
or you
so
put
then,
in your 30 days or something.
Yeah. It was the end of March, and I'm like, I went to my boss. All right, I'm leaving. So I can work till the end of March, or if you want me out of here sooner, let me know. And it was the end of March of 2017 that I retired from John Deere.
Yeah, which was just a very unique thing because there wasn't, it's not cool to retire when you're 32 or 3. And it was a hard day for me because they, could have cared less that you were leaving.
Big corporations, what they do.
Yeah.
Next person up.
Yeah, I felt sad for you. So we tried to make it as big a deal as we could for us with the kids. And I think we did a party.
Yeah, we did. Doughy Joey's.
Retirement
Rest
party.
in peace, Doughy Joey's.
So Matt comes home, and it was the worst year of our lives.
So here, let me pause. So in my notes to the show, I put, Bailey started as a teacher, then she did photography, stay-at-home mom, and then she did Central Wales. My career went from engineer to professional golfer to stay-at-home dad. And the reason I put that was because when I left Deere, I really thought, like, I was going to have more free time.
You thought you were going to live a 65-year-old man's retired life.
That.
Yes, you did.
Shh. Let me mute her real quick. Sorry, guys. Pause. All right. You'll still hear out of this one. I'm sorry about that. But no, I thought I was going to have a lot of free time to golf 4 times a week, maybe. Hey, you're still muted, so this is beautiful.
We had 4 kids.
I didn't
5
forget.
and under at home. I'm
forget.
building a thriving business, and I literally can't see straight between wiping butts, making lunch, and trying to build a business. Answer all the emails, help the people.
Turns out that first 9 months was pretty rough on us because Bailey had a list of the things she wanted me to do, and I was supposed to know what that list was, and I didn't. There was things that I thought she was going to do, but I never told her. It turns out communication sucked.
Communication was awful.
Both of us sucked. Mine was probably way worse because I'm a guy. We
both thought we were going to have all this time to work, but nobody accounted for the fact that all the kids still had to have 24/7 care. So it was super frustrating. We had left a lot of big projects for when you were going to retire, like doTERRA projects, but we had put off because we knew you were retiring, which then just kind of like snowballed. And
good times.
It was bad. We've since learned some major skills. We'll do another podcast. We'll talk about the things we do that make really successful home and work life now.
Sounds good.
Like our CEO and things like that. Shh. And so that first year sucked. Then we got our act together. We got a coach. We got financial goals. We set a budget. I mean, all sorts of things that were helpful that we'll talk about later on.
I want to clarify that. We talked to a bunch of people in doTERRA that had done this, and they mentioned none of this shit. None. So we've actually, some people reached out to us, and we've tried to tell them as truthful as it is.
And we just sugarcoat everything and tell, no, that's not how we roll. We tell them how
it was a shit show, and
here's how you can avoid it.
Yes.
Some of it.
So, anyways, I just want to clarify that.
And then we hit the very top rank in doTERRA. Did you put that in here? Because I don't even know yours. I don't know yours.
It was that same year, wasn't it?
That fall?
It was that fall. So I left
6 months later. We hit the top rank in doTERRA. Things were humming along. And we've just been super blessed by having, shout out, there's probably so many of you listening, amazing business partners.
Hopefully there's so many people listening.
Amazing.
In my mind, there's a lot of you listening that we appreciate.
Amazing business partners, phenomenal customers. I mean, it has totally been God's path, because this was not the path that we would have chose. I mean, you couldn't even dream up this path. It's wild.
No.
And so I mean, every day we literally strive to just help more people, whether it's digestive issues or mental issues or pain or dealing with their kids, right? Like, our kids have never had antibiotics, and we have 5 kids, 11 and under. Like, the opportunities that we're given to help people are just incredible. And so,
should we go through some of our challenges?
is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I think we should go through challenges before we go through highlights. We'll end with the highlights.
Didn't we already tell the highlights?
No.
Oh,
You don't
challenges.
read. You don't read text from me, do you?
Here's the problem.
Here's the problem. I thought our communication was better, but apparently she's not good at it yet.
Oh, I'm real good at communicating.
Oh yeah, you just skip my texts.
Okay.
Anyways, challenges. So one of the challenges we come across is this is network marketing. We had never done anything with it. We'd never been trained on it. Like, it's a different.
We had no sales skills. We had
it's a
no
different
leadership
beast, right?
skills, which are probably the 2 skills you need, and we had 0.
Yeah. So the challenge is there's been a lot of self-development, right? Like,
but I would say really, truly, most of the self-development has come in the last couple of years, because we didn't really
Right.
hit our set point. Like, we had skills we didn't know we had. So we did really well without that. And that's kind of why we thought self-development was kind of frou-frou, because we had a higher set point than most people. I don't know if it's because of our work ethic, both
I think
growing
it's
up on
competition is
farms,
a
our
big part of it.
competition. Yeah. And then we hit this place where we're like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, now I get it. Self-development. Like, we have paid and spent a lot of time with coaches, programs, so many different things that we love. Do we want to list a few? Because you know they're going to ask.
No, let them ask.
No, I don't want to do all those messages. Let's list a few. So we're big into Tony Robbins right now. Unleash the Power Within is a 4-day immersive online or in-person thing. It's coming up in March. I love. You're going to get to go to your first one in March. We work with a couple of different coaches. We've done some coaching with Eric Worre in his program. We're in the GoPro Accelerator. We've done private.
Which is Eric Worre's program.
Yeah, we've done private and group coaching with Tasha Smith from Emerge.
Sales training.
Thank you. And been super blessed by her keeping us accountable. Those are kind of 3 main ones. Tony, Eric, Tasha.
Yep.
And so that's been a new thing for us. I mean, we've done it for years now, but we had to learn to invest into things like that to better ourselves, to help our team, to help our customers. So that's been a cool thing.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go from here?
Another, I don't know if it's really a challenge, but I seem to hear it all the time, is pyramid scheme.
We don't really get it. I mean,
well, I think it's like an older thing where there were pyramid schemes where you give money and you get nothing back.
Yeah, but we don't really run into the challenge. I'm just like, I don't know. Either people don't say it to me, or
well, I think it's just network marketing in general.
Yeah, and it cracks me up, because we definitely have business partners that hear it a lot for some reason, more than us.
Yeah.
And it just cracks me up, because, like, what better way to make an income? Like, you help people, specifically for us, with an amazing product. Not all products are amazing that people sell, so I get it. You help people with an amazing product. Company pays you to help people. You set your own work time schedule. Like, I don't get it. I freaking love it.
Well,
I don't know what's not to love.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things not to love.
Pyramid wise, like, anybody on our team can be more successful than we are. Like, doesn't matter where you are in the business.
And that always cracks me up, because then you think back to, like, John Deere, like, you weren't getting to the
CEO,
top. Yeah, like,
it just goes down.
People kill me.
Anyways, and then the last one I wrote down, which we kind of covered, but working together 24/7. Like, that first year was really hard, but it's still hard. Like, she doesn't freaking leave my side ever.
I love him.
No, it's not that bad, but it is. Like, we're always together. We always have one of us typically has the kids if the other one is doing something for the business or for your pleasure time, whatever it is. But yeah, it just, I don't know. You had to get used to it for sure.
Yeah, we should make a note. We should cover some of those good ways we've dealt with that sometime.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, highlights.
So highlights. This was, I don't know. I was just thinking of like some of the things that I really remember from different things.
Okay, let me get the overarching highlight. The overarching highlight is that we are super blessed to be home together with our kids 24/7. Our kids listen when we're doing personal development. Our kids watch us work hard. Our kids watch us struggle through fights and realize like forgiveness. Like there's the second our kid gets punched at the park, Mama Bear is on that shit and we're going to learn a lesson. Come watch my honey boos. This happened recently, right? Like we just get to be so involved in our kids' development, whether it's their character, their faith, their athletics. Like we just are so lucky to have that. And then I would say travel too is another great highlight. We've been to incredible places, Europe, Mexico, so many neat places because of doTERRA, oftentimes paid for by doTERRA. We're about to go to Jamaica. I mean, so many different things that has been a huge highlight for me. I love traveling, so especially when I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest highlights though is just the amount of people that we've been able to positively affect, right?
Both
like,
product and business wise.
100%.
I mean, there's people, especially the last couple of years, right? They were like, I've lost most of my income because of the pandemic, and my doTERRA check is still there. Like, you have saved our family. Like those moments, I'm just like, yes, like that is what we work hard for. And like, yes, we have an amazing life, but something also maybe to know, I don't know where this fits in the story, is like we also still work really freaking hard. I mean, like people would see my highlights. Sometimes I feel weird about like maybe I should show more of the work I do, but like, we do. Like tomorrow we have a babysitter. We're going to play pickleball for 2 hours in the morning because we both really love pickleball, if you listen to the last episode. And but then I'll come home and I'll bust butt all afternoon, and then we'll put the kids to bed at 8 and we'll work until 11 or 12 at night. So like we're still working really hard, but we get to do it on our own schedule, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any other highlights? Go ahead.
Okay. Just some of the highlights that I remember specifically is when we got to walk the stage as Blue Diamonds. We were actually in Orlando. We were camping at the time.
Leadership.
Yep, at Leadership. Yep, sorry about that. And we got to take our kids on stage with us. I don't even know how many we had at that time, but they were so little and just cute and just fun to take them up there.
And they literally thought we were like celebrities. Like they finally had a clue that like we were successful and like we do this as a family, and yeah, it was cool.
And then the next one was Presidential Diamond. It's the highest rank for our company. We earned that. So at convention, we get to walk. They have like a big black tie affair, right? And they introduce us. We choose our own song, all this good stuff. And
you write your names down for how you pronounce it because there's so many different nationalities.
Yeah.
And so we wrote down on the card Matt and Bailey King plus baby
and
baby number 5.
So nobody knew. So right before we left for this event, we were camping at that time as well. We actually sat the kids down. There's a great video of this.
All right. Mommy and Daddy have a surprise. What do you think it is? You might want to come back a little more specific. What do you think it is? Start with guesses and we'll give you clues.
Ice cream.
No. It's little.
Cow.
Close.
Mouse.
What's your clue?
Mouse.
I have any clues.
Mouse. Give us a hint.
You. You're a hint.
Number 5. You have the number 5.
Lincoln's father's old is turning 6.
That's correct. That's
Is it a rat?
Not a rat.
All right.
Dang
It does have a heartbeat. Like a rat.
it. Sister?
Closer.
Abby?
That's Kayla. Kayla's not your surprise, but that's pretty cool.
Is it a baby? Have a heart.
Close.
Haley, have a heart. Are you adopting a sister?
It grows in mommy's
Yes,
belly.
A baby.
We're gonna have a baby.
Boy or girl?
We don't know yet.
We're gonna
A
a baby.
Mama, we're better supplies.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
We're gonna find out at Thanksgiving it's a sister or brother. A baby. me too.
I'll be a boy.
You hope it's a boy?
Yeah.
You want more brothers? I thought you'd be so excited. You've been asking for a baby brother or sister. Now you're gonna act like that?
We told the kids before we left, and then
Got in the limo.
so then we got in the limo. We went to dinner. We were sitting. My mom came with to celebrate this with us. So we're sitting there having dinner. We're both. I know I was nervous, not because I was walking from all these people, but because like I was so excited to have this
Finally
huge
shared.
surprise.
Not a soul knew that we were pregnant.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we got up on stage, and we had Bailey's sister and her husband and her dad were at home watching on computer, and it was just
And that's
we
how
got to surprise
everybody
everybody
found out
that
we
we were pregnant with our last baby.
Jeez, baby Jesus. Okay.
Anyways, that was a huge
And then I
honor.
would say, obviously, like we bought this beautiful RV and we got to travel the country. I think we hit
Yeah.
47.
I think it's 45.
It doesn't matter.
45 states in 1 year.
Yeah, and just the incredible experiences that brought was all because of doTERRA. doTERRA paid for it. I mean, we paid with our check. We were traveling because of doTERRA to help people. Like, we had some amazing couple years. We've recently sold it because we don't need to travel as much in the pandemic. I don't know if we'll go back to something like that, but it was amazing and hard, really hard. People don't realize how hard it is to
Yeah.
travel with that many young kids, and especially when you're moving that quick. But amazing. So.
I think the next highlight and challenge at the same time is we're trying to expand internationally. doTERRA is opening up in India, and we've got some contacts over there that are excited. We're excited for them.
It's our first real, true international tiptoeing, and it's just out of our box, but we feel like it's kind of like where we're being called to help people there that have this vision and dream and get to hold their hand through it, which would be really cool to be able to watch. I mean, it's always my favorite part, like watching people be successful. I mean, we've had several team members who've left their jobs in the last couple months because doTERRA is now, their paycheck is great enough. And I mean, those are like the coolest days. Along with the same lines, like the text of, oh my gosh, I can't
This
believe.
peppermint cure my which nothing ever has. I said head tension. I'll bleep it out. Nobody will ever know I said.
Anyway, so that's kind of the medium length version of our doTERRA story. If
There's a longer version?
there's a lot of things, hard things we left out of that.
Dang.
If you have questions, just drop a
Message
note.
us, whatever.
Yeah, drop a note to us, and we're happy to answer more personally or on another podcast, or whatever. But I know a ton of you guys have asked kind of our story, and so there is. And I know that's only half of what you asked. You also asked for like tips and tricks and things. So we'll pull up another.
We'll get to just the tip a little later.
We'll do another podcast with, some of the things that we use that have worked well and how we run our business. I think one of the nitty gritty of like how we run our business. So we'll pull in.
Well, we should probably figure that out.
Stop. So we'll pull in some of that. But anyway, I think that's a wrap on our doTERRA story.
Yeah, I think so. These kamikaze parents are out. Week 4. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Please subscribe if you haven't. Share with friends. Let's have some fun, guys.
Kamikaze parents with my